Springboks, like a slow poison, slowly squeeze out Scotland at Murrayfield, 32-15. Makazolo Mapimpi grabs a double to help the Springboks win. Scotland, although good in patches of the game, never really looked like winning this game. A big win for the Springboks to kick off their end-of-year tour. Before we get into it, let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of this game? Who played well? Who didn't? Who was your man of the match? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe while you're there. Let's get into it. So we'll stay on the Springboks firstly. Scrappy couldn't get flow of the game. Jaden Hendrickson was getting caught behind the ruck a ton of times. Fumbles, knock-ons, silly errors, ill discipline, not looking after their ball at ruck time. Also credit to Scotland for pressuring the Springboks at ruck time, but Bokke just couldn't get a flow on. And the whole game was pretty much very stop-start. Not your best viewing game, but still a good result for the Springboks. I did love that their first kickable penalty they got, not to post, went to the touchline, showing their attacking intent early on, and getting reward from that. Mapimpi scoring the first try, but Springboks go get the line out 5 or 10 meters out, maul. So that the maul naturally brings in defense, brings it in a bit closer because all your forwards are there. You're not really looking to play the ball wide. Hit Esterhuizen off that maul. A ton of that also attracts a lot of defense because Esterhuizen is a man mountain. He throws the ball out the back, and Pollard with a beautiful cross kick for Mapimpi. Mapimpi still a little bit of work to do there, but scores, crashes over in the corner. It's great set play, but firstly, great intent from the Bokke to go for tries instead of kicking goals or kicking penalties, and then executing on those plays. I thought the defensive line for the Springboks is really good, well connected, getting up out of the line and making strong tackles, shutting down Scotland's attack. They did kind of a sweep where wingers and outside centres really rushed up and shut down defences there. So Kane and Moody, Mapimpi, Lucanio Arm, really, really good in that regard. Lineouts were a bit of an issue for the Boks. The second lineout got stolen. The third lineout was an overthrow. Something definitely needs to be worked on there. Just not connecting. Maybe a lack of communication. Not sure. Maybe lack of cohesion. Not playing their first game back since the Rugby Championship. But also credit to Scotland. Scotland were doing really well in defending their lineouts and attacking South Africa's lineouts. I thought Andre Esterhuizen was fantastic, man. First phase, he's such a unit. So he's going to catch the ball running at full tilt, running at you. What are you doing? You're sitting there like, oh, I hope he trips over me. Because what I love about his game and what he's brought into his game as well is not just running straight. He's running right at you, and then right at the end, he's doing a little step, and you think you're going to sit there to make that tackle. Then he does a little step and you try and tackle him. Then you're lost. You're grabbing at jersey. You're grabbing at big thighs. You're grabbing at Boerbiana and you're not tackling him there. And if you try and go up high, he's going to throw you off as well. So he was really good for the Springboks getting over the advantage line. Those handling errors really halting the Springboks flow of the game. You know when they get a roll on, they're getting over the advantage line. Good ruck speed, good presentation of ball at ruck time, and just that many times knocking on the ball, getting caught behind the ruck. Also credit to Scotland, but need to be a lot better behind the ruck. Lucky try for Tuomas Toy, getting his first try for the Springboks. Fumble at the line out, but regathered. It was deemed backwards. I thought it might have been a knock on, but Toy goes over 20-meter run untouched. How good. And kind of complimenting the Springboks during that time that Scotland had a man in the sin bin, because other than that, there's not much to show for it. Willie Le magic. for Mapimpi's second try. Oh, man, a through ball, if you will, if you're playing, if you're into football. And Willie Leroux with just a beauty cross kick. Mapimpi wasn't even in the picture. He put it, it's a through ball. He's put it where he thinks Mapimpi's going to be. Beautifully weighted, just deft touch, lovely off the boot, in space. Mapimpi gets it. Over he goes for his second before halftime. Lovely touch there from Willie Leroux. Yeah, like I said, Hendrikse getting caught a lot of times and struggling behind the ruck, fumbles, quite a few knock-ons behind the ruck. I thought when Grant Williams came on, the flow of the game was a lot better, a lot quicker, so much faster and so much more efficient behind the ruck. And then just soft errors and ill discipline allowed Scotland into the game. Scotland only kicked penalties, so 5 penalties, and that's what allowed Scotland into the game, is South Africa's poor discipline, silly mistakes, and just allowing Scotland to flow into it. And then right at the end, kind of helping the scoreline a bit, was the scrum pushover, late try for Jasper Wiese to really extend that lead and get double up points on Scotland. Andre Pollard, 5 from 6, was good. My standouts, probably Esterhuizen was strong with ball in hand. But then, man, there's not really much because all of Mapimpi gets the 2 tries. Willie Leroux was all right at the back line, but not really any standouts there. And for Scotland, oh, man, never, to be honest, never really looked like winning this game, only kicking penalties. My biggest question with that is, at what point do you back yourself? Go for touch, go for the line out, try and score some tries. Because against South Africa, let's be honest, against the Springboks, kicking penalties is not going to win you the game. You need to be scoring tries. I thought they just didn't. At some instances, they broke through and combated South Africa's rush defense, but in other times, really smothered and couldn't get a flow on as well. There was a couple of instances, like I said, where they did get flow on and their ruck speed was really good. And then they were punching holes. There was a bit of shape in their attack. But then after 3 or 4 phases, it would just fizzle out, or a knock-on would happen, or they would lose the ball at ruck. So like I said, very stop-start this game, and errors from both sides. The yellow card, which turned into a red card from Cummings, the croc roll, it's ugly. It's so cringy. When they play it on slow-mo, I look away. When they fall on the guy's knee like that, oh, it's not nice. I will say, though, Scotland did really well with one player off the field during those 20 minutes. They really numbered up on defense, took their time, took the penalties, took their time, kicking to touch, really, really did well there. But then when they came to the full complement, then they started conceding tries again. So that was an interesting one. I thought Ferguson was a proper menace at ruck time, really getting stuck into the Springboks ruck, slowing the ball down, causing havoc behind the rucks. And that was like I'm saying, Hendrikse struggled behind the ruck, and there's a few knock-ons there, but that's credit to Scotland. They were putting them under a ton of pressure like that. The Ben White try disallowed for the knock-on. Man, it was a great try, but sometimes, yes, it's the right call. It was a knock-on. But sometimes you're like, we want these 50-50 calls to just go the way of the team that scored the try. But, man, and then when it happens against my team, then I'm like, shit. But it is what it is. That was a knock-on, but it was a beautiful try, and it would have made this game very interesting if that try was allowed. Yeah, like I said, putting a lot of pressure on the Springboks and caused them to make a lot of handling errors. And like I'm saying, Springboks were poor discipline, ill discipline, but that's because of the pressure Scotland forward pack was putting on the Springboks. A few missed opportunities for Scotland. Ferguson knock on 5 meters out. They had the front foot momentum. Jasper Wiese, I think it was, rushed out of the line, and I think he just looked up at the last minute and knocked the ball on there. That was at like the 50 or 55-minute mark. Then the 59-minute mark, there was another missed opportunity. The 5-meter line out, not straight, or they fumbled it there. Just not, man, those small opportunities you get, especially against the number one team in the world, you have to take them. Penalty kicks being the only points they scored, like I said before, at what point do you go for tries? What point do you back yourself? But Finn Russell gets 5 from 5. And Scotland only score 15 points. My standouts probably Ferguson up front, and in the backs, probably Hugh Jones did really well, punching holes through that Springboks backline, but then also a few wayward passes and just not connecting to score those tries. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the game, who played well, who didn't, where did Scotland lose it? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.